Hello, my fellow YouTubers and subscribers, and welcome to my latest review, where today I review Black Bag, directed by Steven Sodebergh, written by David Koepp. Black Bag, this is a espionage thriller. It's not really an action movie, just to be absolutely clear here, but it does feature an ensemble cast of Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, Regé-Jean, Naomie Harris. When intelligence agent Catherine Woodhouse is suspected of betraying the nation, her husband, also an agent, faces the ultimate test of whether to be loyal to his marriage or his country. So, Black Bag. Now, I kind of went into this not really knowing too much about it. I'd seen the trailer and I thought, okay, this is just a kind of generic spy thriller. What surprised me about this movie was it was more of a character piece than I expected. It's not an action film. I expected there to be some action in this film, and I think it's quite good, actually. Yeah, I enjoyed this. It's not a perfect film. It certainly does have some problems, but ultimately, it's a pretty damn solid story. I really like the fact that we have a group of characters who are agents and are actually friends. I think the idea of that is kind of new and interesting, that they work together, and obviously two of them are married. And the constant tension of the movie is these characters pitted against each other. And I like that tension. I think that's a really good concept and something so simple yet effective. That being said, the type of film this is very generic. The story, the way it's laid out, not that you can see where it's going, but in terms of, we've seen similar types of stories in terms of when we get to the espionage stuff of discovering the mystery of who's behind what and, you know, when and where, how. That stuff feels a little monotonous. The dynamics with the characters are good. They do have a good chemistry, which is very odd because what I'm about to say might sound like a contradiction. The characters themselves, the actors, I guess, have very good chemistry with each other, but the characters themselves aren't necessarily all that interesting. So when we get to the beginning of the movie where there's the dinner scene, when we're getting to know the characters, I only really know their names. I don't really know much about their personalities. I mean, some of them are more developed than others. Michael Fassbender's character is just an agent. That's it. He's an agent who's married. There's nothing else to him. So I would have really liked the script to really have better characterizations for these people, or for the actors to maybe do some more workshopping as to what could have made each of their characters a bit more individual. But the performances are good, and I think that we have a really good cast here. As I said, you know, Fassbender does a good job with the material he's got. Cate Blanchett is also very good, and they do have some nice chemistry. It's very brief, though. We could have seen a bit more, but I guess the film didn't want to sort of derail us into thinking that it was going to go one way or the other. Also got Tom Burke, who plays Freddy. He's kind of an asshole in the film. And we also have Marisa Abela as Clarissa. Naomie Harris, who does a northern accent for this movie. The accent is very ropey, I must admit, but I do like Naomie Harris in her role. And she plays Dr. Zoe Vaughan, who is, I think she's a psychiatrist, but she also has some personal involvement with some of the other characters. Regé-Jean, who English people may know as, you know, from Waterloo Road. He's done a few other commercials since then, and he's one of the people that was rumoured to potentially be James Bond. So this is obviously a good project to kind of get his teeth into. He plays Colonel James Stokes. He's an interesting character as well. And Pierce Brosnan, for all you James Bond fans, Pierce Brosnan is in this movie as like the head of the division, Stieglitz, who doesn't have a lot to do in the movie, but you know, for his screen time, he's fine. I think the film has a really good pace. It's only 90 minutes long, and that's its strength. It didn't need to be any longer. All of the plot points were well thought out, and it is entertaining, you know, going on from the beginning to the end. The story follows through. It's clear, it's coherent, it's solid. It's just nothing remarkable. It's a good, solid little intimate story, but it isn't anything that reinvents the wheel. Not that it had to be that. It's okay to have something that's just fun and engaging and mysterious, but I just feel like there could have been something more to spice it up. Like I said, perhaps it's the characters not all being that individual, given that the actors try. As for the direction by Steven Soderbergh, I think it's good, it's solid. I think he does a good job with what he's given, but the writing perhaps could have been a tad stronger, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's harmless, and it's not harmful either. There's just nothing about it that makes you go, wow. There's nothing about it that makes you go, this is a unique story. It lacks a uniqueness, and it does come across as kind of a plain sort of story and very sort of meat and potatoes sort of the vibe, in terms of it being kind of straightforward. Not the story, in terms of the presentation of the movie, the way this type of story is told, it's very generic, I guess you could say. But despite that, I did enjoy this movie, and I really thoroughly enjoyed the mystery, and the revelation in the third act was actually very interesting. It made sense in terms of the plot. The pace was a little slow, but it needs to be to build up to the mystery. But like I said, it's not a perfect movie, but I definitely say if you want to have a good 90-minute fun, go and see it. But if you were to just watch it on streaming when it comes out on streaming, then you would also have a good time. It's not necessarily a film, I would say, that is made for the big screen, but the cast are impressive, considering that it doesn't feel like it's a movie that has to be cinematic. Maybe it doesn't feel so cinematic. It feels sort of lower budget in some regards in terms of the way it's presented. Like, yeah, the scope of it is quite intimate, which is surprising for a film like this. So while I don't think the film benefits from having a smaller scale in some regards, in other ways, some people might see that as a plus. But to me, I think maybe a slightly larger scale, because of the actors you've got, just to maximize the grandness of the story. I think perhaps they could have made more of the emotional weight of the story as well, certainly with the marriage with George and Catherine. There's not really enough time devoted to that, but the moments we do see are very nice. But then again, I guess it is, they don't want the viewers to get too suspicious about where the true intentions of each character lie, because from the trailer, it looks like they're trying to the group are trying to pit these two characters against each other and try and break up the marriage. Obviously, I can't tell you what happens, but all I can say is there's a bit more to it than that. So all I'll say is Black Bag is a solid, good movie. It's good fun. It's nothing special. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I had a good time watching it, and I think that you should see it if you just want to have a good, fun mystery. So my rating for this movie is an 8 out of 10. I think it's actually better than Mickey 17. So that's my review of Black Bag. What do you think? Please comment down below. Let me know. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, I'm Pajak's Perspective. See ya. Bye for now.